Sports 84 back with another official NBA 2K roster video. And this one, I am actually doing it live. It's been a while since I've did a live video, but under the circumstances, um, the ratings update today, and that's what we're going to talk about. The seventh official player ratings update actually snuck up on me. I had no clue that the update was coming out today, as I thought 2K was going to keep with their normal after holiday schedule, which is every 3 weeks for a ratings update. But I think because next week is the patch update, they are actually moving it up to this week. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking of, what their thinking was on this one. Kind of a smaller update, honestly. This one is, I think, out to clean up some of the positions, some of the outstanding ratings that kind of hadn't gotten changed in quite a bit, because it's not a large update by any means. But I'm going to talk about the positions and the players that went up and down as well. I might miss a few positions, so don't kill me if I do. Try to match up what I have on the old roster versus the new one. Sometimes it's a little hard to do, but let's jump into this one. Joel Embiid goes a +2 to a 92 overall, so he's climbing back up there. Obviously, still not rebounding the greatest, but able to score on the offensive end. Dominic Barlow recently got converted to a standard contract. He goes +1 to a 78 overall. Looks like Quentin Grimes dropped -1 to a 77 overall. Trendon Watford goes +1 to a 77 overall. And then there's no position changes for the Sixers. We do get Dalen Terry added on a two-way contract. We'll see if they convert Jabari Walker to a standard contract. I assume once Patrick Baldwin's 10-day contract runs out, they'll just convert Jabari Walker and then sign someone else into Jabari's two-way contract. We've also got Charles Bassey on a 10-day contract as well. So those two slots could get filled, by a buyout candidate plus converting Jabari Walker. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. Milwaukee Bucks. Kevin Porter Jr. goes +1 to an 82 overall. Kyle Kuzma +1 to a 79. Gary Trent Jr. +1 to a 76. Kind of odd because he's out of the rotation now, but is what it is. And then Jericho Sims all the way down here goes +1 to a 72. You could tell that 2K did not really dive into any performances last night or really the night before, just because you would have seen some increases for the Milwaukee Bucks. But looks like no position changes either for them, which is kind of odd considering. I mean, I guess not, because they kind of alternate the lineup between Green being the small forward, and Kuzma starting depending on the size of the opposing lineup. So I guess it's not the end of the world. I personally would have swapped Green to the 2, Kuzma to the 3, and then had Rollins to the backup point guard because he's not starting any longer. And then Cam Thomas is coming off the bench. So it just made better sense to swap those positions. But I guess 2K will wait for another update to do that. Chicago Bulls very light on the ratings changes. Modest Bazelis +1 to an 82, and then Nick Richards +1 to a 74. Kind of weird with Richards. I thought he could go a lot higher, considering he's played really well since joining the Bulls. However, they do get position changes updates, I should say. And again, 2K doesn't pay any attention to the injuries because they're looking at, players will utilize the living roster, so to speak, when they buy the game at All-Star Weekend, things like that. So they wanted to have most of the stars they could without injuries. That's why you won't see Curry or anybody injured later throughout the roster. But Colin Sexton shifts to shooting guard. And then they keep, oddly enough, they keep Yabusele at power forward, even though he's been starting at center. And then that's pretty much it for the Bulls. Not really a lot. Same thing goes for Cleveland. Jared Allen gets a +2 bump to an 85. We also see Dean Wade go +2 to a 77. And then they pretty much did nothing else to the roster. Naquan Tomlin gets converted to a standard contract. Larry Nance shifts to center as his position. And then, like I said, no other changes. Schroeder has been literally shooting like 9% since coming to the Cavs, and he didn't get a drop, so kind of surprised to see that, but is what it is. Like I said, they're going light on the ratings in this one for whatever reason. One change for the Boston Celtics ratings-wise, and that's Baylor Shireman bumping up to +1 to a 75. They did move Luka Garza to the 4, but they kept Hauser at the 4. They didn't switch Derek White to the point guard spot since Peyton Pritchard's been coming off the bench. It's weird the way that they went about position changes. Ron Harper Jr. has been great for them lately. He didn't get any kind of boost, so not really sure what they kind of were looking at with this one other than some small cleanup, as I said in the beginning of the video. The LA Clippers got a couple changes for them. Ben Mathurin shifting to shooting guard. And then we have no other. I don't think there's any other. We do. We got Kobe Sanders shifting back to small forward. Nick Batum to the power forward spot. Speaking of Kobe Sanders, he goes +1 to a 76. Yannick Conan Niederhauser goes +1 to a 75. And then the before mentioned Nick Batum drops -1. You can pretty much count on 2K to always mess with Nick Batum, and there's a couple other players like Harrison Barnes always is up or down in an update. Once he goes down, it's very hard to get him back up because 2K just never changes his ratings. It took him long enough with the badge changes as is, but is what it is. It is what it is with the Clippers. We'll move on. Going to the Memphis Grizzlies. Ty Jerome gets a +2 bump to an 81 overall. Cedric Howard drops -1 to an 80. He's not been playing well lately. I thought they could use some position changes other than just Kyle Anderson to center. I thought you could move Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to small forward, considering they did move Walter Clayton to shooting guard. We get Gigi Jackson still at small forward, even though he's been playing power forward. +2 for him to a 78. Kyle Anderson does get bumped +2 to a 77, so they at least did that. Lawson Lovering gets added to the game. He played last night, and so he's on a 10-day contract. Nothing else for them, despite some good performances lately by them. What's up, Isaac? Yeah, man, I don't understand James Harden dropping to an 89 previously and then not being able to go back up, considering he's right there, on the level of a lot of other guys that are in that range, the 90 range. He's even better than some. Same thing with Jalen Johnson, who luckily I'm touching on here. He cannot go up to a 90 for whatever reason. He stays in an 88, despite literally since January 29th, he's averaging nearly a 30-point triple-double. It's like 28, 29 points with, 11, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, and he's stuck at 88. It doesn't make any sense to me. We move on. One single change for the Atlanta Hawks, and that's CJ McCollum going +1 to an 83. Did we watch the Hawks, or, I don't know how that works. Julian, with Mexico City, there's something with their licensing rights that are not held by the NBPA, and that's why they're not in the game. They're their own entity, and they're somehow licensed differently with the G League. And so that's why the NBA took them out of 2K officially. I was able to add them in last year on PC because obviously we had the cross-platform change. This year, without that, it pretty much makes any kind of college rosters or any retro rosters with missing players on Play Now rosters irrelevant. You can do a college roster on MyNBA, but for me, I don't have the time to set all that up. There's a couple out there. I guess you could search them on the MyNBA Share, 2K Share, whatever it is, and find them. Moving on to the Miami Heat, couple of changes for them. They move Norman Powell up +2 to an 86 overall. Pelle Larsson goes +1 to a 78. Drew Smith +1 to a 75, -1 for Nikola Jovic. And then Myron Gardner goes +2 to a 73. Somehow no change for Kasparis Yakashonis. I don't understand that one either. Like, some of these just don't make sense that they're missing, but then they add other guys. It is what it is, I guess. Charlotte Hornets, Musa Diabate, +1 for him to an 80. Kobe White drops -2 to an 80. And then we get Grant Williams +1 to a 75. Nothing really to complain about here with the Charlotte Hornets. I thought maybe you could bump Knipple up +1 to match Ball and Miller, but, I'm not going to fret about that one. We do have a big mover in the Utah Jazz. Isaiah Collier bumps up +3 to an 82. Obviously having a 22 assist game, and I think he had a 17 assist game, if I remember. So he gets a large bump there. Jaren Jackson Jr. is out for the season. He had knee surgery, wink, wink. Take that for what you will. They are trying to, definitely not trying to win games. Julian the Patch will be next week. And if you kind of paid attention to social media, it looks like we'll get like Jaden Ivey will have a new scan. Zachary Richeche will have a new scan. I think there was a couple others. So it is what it is. Oh, we got the Real 2K Insider in here. What's going on, John? Good to see you, man. Thanks for popping in. Looking forward to for you to dive into the badge updates if there are any. Looks like 2K went kind of light on this update as far as overall ratings changes. It's more position changes and things like that. So looking forward to your videos. Looking forward to your recap from all the games last night, since there was a huge amount. So I'm sure that took you forever, but looking forward to it. For anybody that doesn't know the Real 2K Insider, he's got the Real 2K rosters. He's got his file out. And then you can download that, of course, on both next-gen consoles. And then make sure you're going over to his YouTube channel. Support the channel. Get his subscribers up so he can get monetized, because he's literally uploading almost every day with every single night's content on how it relates to the NBA and 2K. So check that out. Let's jump back into the ratings. Kyle Filipowski gets a bump +2 to a 79, excuse me. Russell Westbrook of the Sacramento Kings actually downgrades -1. Maxim Reynaud +2 to a 79. That's exactly where they had him before last update. Dylan Cardwell swaps to power forward with a +3 bump to a 77. Nick Clifford +2 to a 77. Precious Achiuwa -1 to a 76. Devin Carter goes +1 to a 75. And then Daquan Plowden +3 to a 71. Looking really quickly to see. Don't think there's any other position changes for them. Bean, I don't know about the player likeness updates other than the couple that I mentioned earlier. Who knows at this point? We're wrapping towards the end of 2K26, honestly. The college updates coming in season 5 for my team. So you'll see all those college teams and players, the ones they got likeness rights signed for, scanned into the game. So make sure you check out my team next week as well. I'll do a big video on that, showing off those players and where they are and how you can get them and things like that. I don't play my team at all, so I have no interest in it, but I'll at least show it for the content side of things. New York Knicks, 89 overall, -1 for Karl-Anthony Towns. OG Anunoby goes +1 to an 85. No boost for Jose Alvarado, who's been on a tear. I guess 2K. LA Lakers. DeAndre Ayton goes +1. I guess. I haven't really seen anything different from him lately, but maybe I missed it. Jared Vanderbilt, same thing. They go +1 to a 77. He's been playing, but like, has he really done anything great? I don't know. Meanwhile, there's really nothing else, in there. Yeah, John, I was talking about it. They probably didn't add it the game last night. I still thought he could go. He was underrated as is, so I thought he should have went up a while ago, at least around the 78 or so. But it is what it is. Orlando Magic. We get Desmond Bain going +1, back up +1. He was 84 previously. Anthony Black goes back up +2 to an 83. And then Mo Wagner gets a +2 bump to a 77. Thought there could be a little bit of a downgrade for Jace Richardson. He hasn't been shooting it well. Yeah, it doesn't make sense, some of the ratings. John, as you know, you dive in way deeper than I do, but it just doesn't make any sense with half of the, speed, speed acceleration, strength, stamina, all of those, like, they should at least be reviewed in the off season once a year. But it is what it is at this point. Dallas Mavericks, they have an 87 overall. Cooper Flagg, he goes +1. If I remember correctly, looking at the stats in his last, 6 games, it's like 32 points or something like that. So that's kind of why he got the boost there. Najee Marshall somehow drops to a 79. I don't get that one. Maybe it's because and it doesn't even make sense because he swapped positions from power forward to small forward, which would make him increase. So they purposely had to drop him to a 79. I don't really get that one at all. Who knows there? Daniel Gafford +1 to a 79. Same with Marvin Bagley. And then PJ Washington gets a downgrade after getting swapped to power forward. He goes -1 to a 78. Klay Thompson -1 to a 78. And then Caleb Martin with a position change to power forward. I think he's actually been playing a little bit of 2-guard for them, if I've looked at the lineup data correctly. Might be wrong, but at least small forward, if not 2-guard. But I guess you could play all 3 of those positions. He goes +1 to a 75. Going over to the, almost said New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets. What did they shoot from 3? Basically, yeah, what did they shoot from 3? Yeah, you're right. The 3 is the most impactful for those ratings. I always forget that. Almost said New Jersey Nets, but the Brooklyn Nets, Michael Porter Jr. -1 to an 86. Igor Doman goes +1 to a 78 with a position change to shooting guard. We get Day'Ron Sharpe +1 to a 78. Big man Sam, what's up, man? Yeah, New Jersey would be fine with me. 77 overall for Nolan Trayor. He goes +4. He gets a big boost. Looks like he got some badges as well. Trayor is now the starter at point guard. And then we got Danny Wolf, +1 to a 77. Looking through, it looks like Agbaji swapped to small forward. And that looks to be it for position changes for them. Moving over to the Denver Nuggets. You can't tell because he's injured, but Peyton Watson drops -1 to an 83 overall. We get Julian Strawther, who's actually played really well, +2 to a 75 for him. I thought Murray might have gotten a +1 bump, but I guess not. Let's see, looking through, nothing else of note for them. Going over to the Indiana Pacers, Pascal Siakam goes -1 to an 87 overall. And then Cam Jones, all the way down here, goes +2 to a 71. Had a nice dunk last night. I think it was on Igor Doman as well, if I remember that correctly. No boost for Shepard, Jackson, guys like that. I thought Jarris Walker could go up. He's played well, but no boost for them. At least they changed Darren Nesmith back to small forward, so he can be the starter there. Going over to the New Orleans Pelicans, Zion drops -1 to an 87 overall. He has been playing exclusively at point guard literally for like the past, 8, 9 games. I would not recommend shifting him to point guard in the game, but I would keep it like it is with power forward point guard as a second designation. Sadiq Bey gets a bump +1 to an 82. Same with Derek Queen, +1 bump to an 81. And then we got Carlo Matkovic, +1 to a 76. Man, for whatever reason, I know he's not been shooting it the greatest, Herb Jones, but 78 seems kind of low for him. Maybe 2K will adjust that at some point. We'll see. Detroit Pistons, one single change for them. Asar Thompson gets a +1 bump to an 83. I don't know what Duncan Robinson has to do to not get a bump, to get a bump, I should say, up at least +1, if not +2, but it is what it is. No other changes for them other than Isaac Jones comes back on a 2-way contract, so he's designated there. We got Toronto Raptors, 2 changes for them in Sandro Mamakhalashvili, +1 to a 79, and then Colin Murray-Boyles, +1 to an 80. Other news for them, they actually got a now healthy, for how long, who knows, but Jakob Poeltl is back as a starting center. Jonathan Mogbo swapped to power forward, and doesn't look like any other position changes there. Houston Rockets took a hit. A couple of changes for the big names there. Durant goes -1 to a 92 overall. Alperen Sengun, just named an All-Star, he goes -2 to an 87. Hasn't been playing as well lately. And then Amen Thompson goes -1 to an 86 overall. No position changes for them at all. Going over to the San Antonio Spurs, they dropped De'Aaron Fox. They did not count last night's game. Otherwise, I don't think they would have. They drop him to an 86 overall. Somehow, Stephon Castle's still only a +1 to an 85. Can we get him at least to an 86? If we've got Brandon Miller at an 86, you got to put Stephon Castle at 86. Probably not a great comparison to compare those two, but that's at least where I would put him at an 86. Dylan Harper gets a +1 bump to an 80. Julian Champagnie gets a position change to power forward. So you got Castle even higher, John. I hadn't looked at your roster in a couple of days. I try to look at it after the videos because I can't remember everybody that changes in the videos, but every few days I'll look at it. But yeah, 88, I mean, that's, I think you're a tad bit higher because you actually do full-fledged rating changes and badges, but they don't really change the badges, which I think they should. They've done a hell of a job this year compared to the last couple years, but I still think they could go an even higher tier on badges for some guys, but it is what it is. Carter Bryant gets a bump +1 to a 73 as well. They at least injured David Jones-Garcia because he's out for the year. We finally get the Phoenix Suns. They finally changed Dylan Brooks back to small forward. And he actually goes +3 to an 85 overall. I wonder if he can go even higher if he keeps playing like he has been. Grayson Allen, position change to shooting guard, +3 to an 83 overall. We get Jalen Green downgraded to 81 overall. I thought he could go down a little more. He's been awful since coming back. They still have him at shooting guard, so now you got Booker, who did change positions as well. Allen and Green all at the same position. I thought they could swap Jalen Green to the point guard spot just so you don't have a glut at shooting guard, but I guess Royce O'Neal +1 to a 77 overall, and then Ryan Dunn dips down -1 to a 74 overall. OKC Thunder, they have Cason Wallace. Yeah. Oh wow, I forgot. I didn't even see Goodwin. I didn't even pay attention to that. So they've got 4 shooting guards to go with Gillespie and Boyea at point guard. That is crazy. Yeah, definitely could have moved Goodwin and Green down. At least Green if you're not going to move Goodwin, but I guess. OKC Thunder. AJ Mitchell's actually out with an abdominal injury. Of course, 2K doesn't have it on here. Cason Wallace +1 to an 80. We get Isaiah Joe +1 to an 80. Jared McCain has played well since coming over to OKC. +1 bump for him to a 76 overall. They did add Buddy Boeheim the other day on a 2-way contract. He has a generic face, even though he has his picture there. Going over to the Minnesota Timberwolves. They don't have Ayu Dosunmu swapped to shooting guard. I believe that's where he's playing because I think, if I remember correctly, Terrence Shannon's a little bit. Is he got a bigger wingspan, though? No, I guess. I mean, he's taller, but his wingspan's not as much as Dosunmu. I guess you could leave it as is, but I still would swap Dosunmu to the 2 because Jalen Clark is coming at the 3, but it is what it is. Julius Randle drops -1 to an 87. Meanwhile, Bones Highland +1 to a 77. No position changes for them. Going over to the Portland Trailblazers. Denny Avdia drops -1 to an 88. I saw that coming because 2K is going to look at minor stats, and even though Avdia was out for a few games, doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Shaedon Sharpe hasn't been as good for the since the 29th, and they leave him at 85. Donovan Clingan did get a boost +1 to an 84. I'm just going to search through. I don't think they have anything else. Nothing else of note for them. I thought Sidy Cissoko could go up. He's been playing really well. Still no badges for him. It is what it is, I guess. Golden State Warriors, no injury designation for Steph Curry, even though that was announced. They still have Kristaps Porzingis at an 84, even though he plays off the bench and has been for a while with limited minutes. Al Horford gets a bump +1, I guess. He's been playing a little bit better lately. Guy Santos finally gets an update. He goes +5 in this one to a 77. Porzingis hasn't even played. Yeah, good point, John. He hasn't even played for Golden State yet, and he doesn't have an injury designation. This is what I'm talking about with 2K. If you're going to injure some guys, you got to fix the timelines for injuries, and you got to fix that they're actually injured. Because when you play now online, it's crazy that they don't acknowledge play now online, number one. But when you play now online, guys are going to pick Golden State if Curry's healthy and Porzingis is healthy and guys like that. So Butler is actually correct that he has his. Normally they'd have like you said, like 1 to 2 week injury. Pat Spencer goes +2 to a 77. Yeah, the injury roster is useless. So yeah, but I'm just glad Guy Santos actually got a boost. As it's been a month since they've had it, but or since they haven't upgraded him. He was like a 72 for like an entire month, even though he was outperforming that rating a while ago, but is what it is. Last but not least, Alex Sarr just got announced this morning that he's out for 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. Those usually can take a little bit longer, so we'll see when he comes back. We'll also see, because he's out of the Rising Stars game along with Cooper Flagg, who doesn't have his injury designation either. Flagg's got a sprained foot. Neither one of those guys are going to be in the Rising Stars game. I don't know if they can get a replacement last minute if they're going to do that, but certainly Ace Bailey deserves it. Ron Holland's another guy that could be added in if they wanted to go that route. But they did. Did they announce it? Okay, I didn't know they announced it. I haven't looked. I literally jumped in to get the ratings and stuff listed and hadn't seen it. So good. I'm glad Ace Bailey got it for Cooper Flagg. Well deserved there. Going over the ratings for them. Speaking of Sarr, he goes +1 to an 84. Will Riley gets a huge bump for him. 78 overall +4. He also gets badges as well. Oh, Bub Carrington. Okay, gotcha. Perfect. Thank you, John. Bilal Koulibaly goes -1 to a 78. He's been awful lately. Who has been good and was criminally underrated is Justin Champagny. He goes +1 here to a 78. They still got D'Angelo Russell on the roster. We'll see if he gets waived hopefully soon because he's not with the team. Yeah, Jaren Jackson being out for the Jazz. I'm just waiting on the phantom injury to come for Lauri Markkanen as well, and then they could just tank games from there. And or Keontae George. Then they can really tank games at that point. Sharif Cooper gets a +1 bump to a 72. Same with Anthony Gill, +1 to a 72. And then Jameer Watkins, +1 to a 70 overall. They did add Kadari Richmond, who, if you know anything about Kadari Richmond, he's a defensive first guard, kind of a hybrid combo guard. He doesn't shoot the three in high volume, doesn't shoot it well. Kind of a slower game offensively, but we will see what happens with him. He doesn't look aggressively for his shot either, so we'll see if he's there to add defense. Why, I don't know. Why the Wizards picked him up for defensive purposes, I don't know, since they're not trying to win games, but it is what it is at this point. Really quickly, because I know people are going to ask me, is there any retro content? No, there is not any retro content. I would assume at this point we're not getting it. They focused on the college NIL guys to get that licensing in, and they did not focus anything. There's no update for retro side of things, even though getting a lot of those guys in should be a priority. But and there's a lot of guys to add, but that's all I could say on that. But let me know in the comments who you guys have for your All-Star weekend selections. As far as, you know, they don't have the skills competition anymore. They took that out. So you got the shooting stars. I'm going with Team Cameron, which is the Duke guys. That's my choice for it. In the three-point contest, which is my favorite contest, I'm a huge Damian Lillard fan. I'm a huge Con Knipple fan. Those are my two finalists. Don't ask me who I want to win. I like them both. So it'd be cool to see either one of those win. Still don't know how the hell Bobby Portis got in and Cam Spencer didn't, but it is what it is. The dunk contest, I'll go with Jace Richardson. I predict he does a dunk that his dad, Jason Richardson, did in either 02 or 03 because he was in back-to-back dunk contests. I think he'll pay homage to him with a jersey and some kind of a dunk of his. We'll see if that comes to fruition, but I think he will win. I don't know that the other guys really have that much creativity when it comes to dunks because they're a little bit bigger wing or bigs. We will see. And then the All-Star game, who knows how that's going to work, international versus U.S. I mean, if guys take it serious, it can go either way. I'm going to say international wins it. We'll see. I don't know. Mac McClung, just so everybody knows, is not doing the dunk contest. He announced that he will showcase his dunks after the dunk contest is over with, which made no sense. Like, well, then just do the damn dunk contest. But I guess he got tired of being the NBA prop for the dunk contest. It is what it is, but I don't really look forward to the dunk contest anymore. Like I said, 3-point contest is what I'm looking forward to. We shall see. I'd like to see them do something where they could do another innovative event of some kind to take the place of the skills contest. But we'll see kind of what that is. I don't really have any solid ideas right now, other than you could say one-on-one, but are guys really going to take that serious? Who knows? But it is what it is. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you share the video as well. That helps me in the algorithm as well. I guess the next video I'll have will be about the patch next week. Then the My Team content, I'll do separate videos. So maybe 2 videos next week. We'll see. In the meantime, like I said, make sure you're going over to Real 2K Rosters. Support all John's content. If you're a huge fan of the NBA like I am, those nightly wrap-ups tied into 2K are a huge help because I don't always catch all the condensed games the next day. I try to put it on while I'm working, but it doesn't always work out. So those videos are quick hitters that highlight some of the good stuff. So make sure you're checking that out. Make sure you sub to his channel as well. Make sure you're actually watching the videos because those watch hours help as well. So everybody have a great weekend. Enjoy All-Star. Oh, also, really quickly, Celebrity Game has Shams Charania in it, which I am curious to see if he can actually hoop. I don't know anything about him, but from what he's talked about, he could shoot it, and I'm curious to see kind of how that works out. And there's a couple other NBA players that'll be in it that played at one point, so I'll actually maybe watch it this year and see if it's any good. We'll see. All right, everybody, take care.